自己就走上去自己嗰陣時啲舊樓咧有個天台，就經常都係我一個人一得閒我就上天台。點叫做小念頭？點解叫做小念頭？成日喺度。
So what I did is I just went up the roof of the old building in the old days, and I went there very often and always just think, what is the 念頭？小念頭 ？Why is it a 小念頭？
但係結果咧都揾唔到佢嗰個立念嗰個方法，即係嗰個意思出嚟，咁就唯有根據葉問師傅我哋而家通常都叫佢做宗師啦，而家葉問宗師，嗰隻攤手點解要咁，個綁手點解要咁，就成日喺度嚟揾點解唔使用力，即係咁樣就一路係咁樣練頭。
But in the end, I still couldn't understand what erecting the idea means. Then what I only do is I just think all the three forms, 攤手、綁手、獨手, and use no effort to practice them. That's what I was doing.
原來長期唔使用力咁去打嗰套拳咧，結果就產生一種好強大嘅力量。
And over time, when you don't really use force to practice the forms, and power will be built up.
但原來其實係好簡單一樣嘢嚟嘅。
Actually, it is rather simple.
咁樣佢簡單得嚟又會有強大力量，咁呢樣嘢咧就覺得好神奇啦。
It is simple yet powerful. That's why it's so remarkable.
咁整套小念頭咧就係等你訓練你唔使用力，點解會大力？所有小念頭嘅招式，你唔使用力，點解會大力？
So the purpose of practicing 小念頭 is not using force to practice it, yet you become very powerful.
Any simple advice he has for people that are new to Wing Chun?
Sorry again?
Any advice he has for people that are new to Wing Chun?
New to Wing Chun. 有冇啲意見俾啲新學詠春嘅 ？Please.
根據我聽我師傅咁樣教，我就咁樣學。當然要企好個姿勢啦，但全身要放鬆，條脊骨要升直。咁但係千祈唔好用到啲肌肉嘅力量。咁就慢慢去訓練自己，唔使用肌肉都有一種力量走出嚟嘅。
This method follows what Ip Man taught him. Have the proper stance, have the spine rising up, erected, and not using force or power to do all the movements. Then gradually it will have that kind of power coming out.
When did he realize that doing Wing Chun that it could generate so much power? Like, when did he find that transition?
你幾時發覺自己開始有呢種力量出現？
因為我咧就好中意同啲師兄弟去接觸嘅，我慢慢咧發覺我都唔使用力，究竟你哋係咪喺度整蠱整怪啊？專登唔出力窒下我多病啊嘛，因為。
He liked doing 黐手and contact with different brothers and sisters, and they commented you're so powerful, but from his point of view he didn't really use power, so there's a puzzle in his mind.
呢個嗱方法有咩方法做好啲？如果講出嚟咧，就唔使練習噶啦，個個跟嗰個方法去做，個個都做得好啲，都識得寸勁噶啦。咁啊，始終係要自己練習。
She's asking about punching and 1-inch punch, and especially for ladies facing a strong guy, it's very hard to counter his force. And is there any method to train up better the punching and 1-inch punch? And Qigong said, if there's a method, is there something terrible on the method, then you no need to train at all, because you just follow something and you can attain it. So after all, it's about your own training.
What did you find the most difficult or challenging aspect of Wing Chun to come to an understanding of?
Sorry again.
Sorry, what part of while studying Wing Chun, what aspect or did you find hardest to get an understanding of?
師傅詠春咧係最難去明白或者去做嘅一部分咧係啲乜嘢嘢咧？
就係自己點樣打通自己個念頭。嗱，念頭咧我就唔係冇研究個腦㗎，我就唔知個腦有幾多作用。不過根據睇下嗰啲腦嘅結構嘅書咧，我哋個人個腦咧好叻嗰個都係用10%幾嘅。
The hardest thing is how you can open up your 念頭，your idea。
嗰個念頭咧就喺慣常用嗰10%幾以外嘅令至嗰個腦嘅部分。
As far as I know, usually people just use a very small proportion of the brain. And 念頭 is on another part of the brain we not usually used.
佢就專去控制操縱一個人本身應有嘅潛能。
And it controls and manage the potential of one and explore it.
咁如果你能夠練到將嗰個潛能嗰個腦打通咗，可以拎出嚟用，佢嘅力量就會大啦。
And if you can through training tap on this and take it out, as if to take it out and use it, then you can attain that kind of Wing Chun.
What about, I'm just trying to understand, other strength and conditioning training, other muscular training, does that inhibit the ability to improve?
其他咧，佢做一啲即係肌肉嘅運動咧，會唔會影響咗去訓練呢一種嘅詠春嘅力量？
嗱，我咧就好少研究人哋嘅嘢，但係我收過一個學生係做肌肉運動嘅。
I haven't really researched into other methods, but I come across a student. He trained a lot on the muscles.
因為嗰個學生咧，佢請咗一個好著名教佢運用肌肉嗰個教練。
He hired a very professional, famous trainer.
根據佢講咧，就係世界有名嘅呢個教練。
He said that trainer is famous internationally.
佢每逢叫佢做半小時運動咧，嗰個教練係親身同佢將啲肌肉放鬆半小時。
Whenever he have done, say, half an hour exercise, the trainer will relax for him for a certain time.
咁佢後期練得幾好啦，咁放鬆幾好啦，嚟學功夫嚟學詠春嘅時候，佢真係想放鬆佢就放得鬆，佢想用力佢啲肌肉抽得好。
So after this kind of training, he came to Qigong and learn Wing Chun, and he can really control the relaxation.
嗰個佢話佢就個教練親身幫佢去放鬆嘅，就唔係叫佢揈鬆佢就算啦嗰啲。
He said it's the trainer helping him to relax the muscles, not himself relaxing it.
咁我就唔認識佢個教練，不過佢走嚟學功夫，我知道佢有呢種放鬆嘅能力。
I don't know his trainer and I don't know that kind of knowledge, but I just come across this incident and I know he can relax in that way.
How about the breathing during the swan, Sentao, and the breathing? Breathing. When you do the movement.
大家先其實嗰個呼吸有冇咩要留意？
冇，因為全身放鬆晒，佢自己呼吸，唔會有壓住個肺，即係嗰種呼吸好暢順嘅咁樣就得。
As far as you focus on relaxing your body, the relaxation already tunes your breathing, and no need to think about breathing consciously.
Does the Sifu think then it's important to work on ideas that help you relax, like peacefulness and love and joy, things that make you relax more?
因為有冇幫助咧？就係如果佢諗一啲，例如話諗自己平靜啲咧，或者係開心啲啊，會唔會幫助到嗰種嘅放鬆咧？
唔係，嗱其實咧你企喺度，你諗住放鬆啲肌肉係放鬆，當你一升起嗰陣時，你會乜嘢都忘記晒。
Not really. It's just a very direct relationship. You want it to relax, and when it's relaxed, you will forget anything, forget all troubles. It's quite the reverse from this.
You're just saying go the other way.
Yeah.
I understand.
Qigong, has he ever studied or does he use any pressure points to help
Pressure points.
So we're talking about trying to relax our shoulders from our spine. Are there any physical points that we could use as well?
佢話有冇啲話實際例如穴位嗰啲？ 會幫助到後續嘅點樣去教佢？
唔係嗱，其實最簡單就調隻個聲靜咁多就識放鬆啦。
To him, the simplest way is take the spine rising, and that's all for relaxation.
So there was a few things that Sigel talked about in that video, so I'll just cover a couple of things. Firstly, this question about muscular training and its relevance to this kind of relaxation training. It comes up a fair bit. People ask me a lot, and I personally asked Sigel when I came to Hong Kong. Speaking from personal experience, it was very difficult initially for me to relax, to be able to tap into my body and relax the muscles and joints. Because in my late teens I was doing quite heavy lifting. I was actually doing bodybuilding, so I was 20 kilos heavier than I am now with less body fat. So I was very big and I didn't know anything about correct weight training. So me and my friend, we just used to go there, and it was a race to who can pack on more weights, you know. So I'm quite lucky that I didn't damage the joints or damage the spine, because we had no form and we'd just go in there, and I wouldn't have rest days, and just, you know, pump weights every day, stay in the gym for 3-4 hours, which is pretty stupid actually. So when I came here, I was very, very, very tense. And yeah, I think other people that hadn't done that, I saw that even though they weren't training as much as me initially, they could relax a lot easier. So for me, I had to put in, you know, I had to work much, much harder to be able to tap into my body and relax and to gain the control that I have now. So I recommend, and this is from Sigel's mouth himself, where he said he would never say, no, don't do this or don't do that. He would say, yeah, you can do physical activity, but his recommendation was to, for example, if you do an hour of physical activity, straight away, immediately after, do an hour of relaxation work. Whether it be, he said, if you can already relax a little bit in Silim Tao, do an hour of Silim Tao. If you can't, get someone that knows how to massage properly to massage, do something like that. Basically, his idea was you don't want the muscles to get that tight sort of memory. You can still work the muscles and you know, make them stronger, make them even bigger, but you don't want them to basically end up the way my muscles were, where, you know, you walk around like this. When I used to walk out of the gym, I was one of those people that I couldn't move my arms. You know, my range of movement was like that. Initially, starting to do Tansa Fuksa, I would have to do it like this because I physically couldn't. The joint wasn't relaxed enough to come all the way in, and there was too many muscles in the way. So yeah, so if you're going to do that kind of stuff, there's nothing, I mean, it sounds like I'm saying there's something wrong with physical. Actually, it's very good for you. It's great to train the muscles. It's great to be physical, to do all of that kind of stuff. But as long as it doesn't change the muscle memory, the texture of your muscles to become very tight, then it's very hard for you to tap into this type of Wing Chun. So that's on the muscular training. The second thing he mentioned, it was a couple of questions on breathing and on the emotional state. So with the breathing, again, I asked him this myself as well. I said, no, you just breathe naturally. Once you can relax, naturally your breath will go to here. You will start to breathe 3D and very healthily, you know, because usually most people only breathe up to here. So, you know, they breathe like that, which is actually not taking in as much oxygen as they should be taking, which can lead to health problems. So he said once you can relax, you can do that. But problem is, many people, it takes them a long time before they can relax to that level. So what I recommend, what I practice myself is I do some breathing exercises just every day before meditation. Pranayama, which is from yoga, it's a yogic type of breathing. There's different ones. I just do the very simple ones. And I really feel that it's a very good way to first calm the mind. And I really feel that, studies have shown that, you know, through the practice of pranayama, you can take in 7 times more oxygen than an average person does throughout the day. You know, so with my Wing Chun practice, I've been doing that for a while now. But even before that, with my Wing Chun practice, and I could feel that I'm breathing better than most people, so not top heavy, but with the pranayama it's helped me a lot. So I do that separately. I don't mix the two together. So I think that's very important. If you do other internal practices, don't mix them together. If you're doing Silim Tao, just Tai Gong, rise up, and don't use any effort. But that's not to say that if you do other practices, it's going to be detrimental to the Wing Chun practice. Just don't mix them. On the other notes about one of the teachers, Chris, asked, if you sort of emotionally more balanced, if you think about happy thoughts, if you're positive, you have that mentality, is it easier? Sigel's answer was, for him, he doesn't know, he just Tai Gong, sing. Once he's in that state, there is no room for emotional troubles and stuff like that. Problem is, he said, for him, he got in that state very quickly, right? The problem is, how do you get into that state? And what if you're, quite emotional or whatever before you get into that state? So this is where I recommend you do some kind of very simple, easy meditation practice, okay? Because, and this is speaking from my own experience and from what happened to me and what I witnessed with some of my students, people that are quite, they have some kind of imbalance emotionally, and maybe they get angry very easy, or they're sad, or they're depressed, or anything like that, before they can sort of tap into some kind of mindfulness with their Siling Tao practice, they might either try too hard, or it's very hard for them to find a very balanced, sort of fertile ground for the mind to be able to then, a calm mind to be able to then add the intentions of Tai Gong, sing, stuff like that. And if the mind is not balanced, if you're starting from a sort of a mind that's jumping here and there, and it's angry mind, emotional, sort of unbalanced, if you're starting from a ground like that, it's very difficult for you to drop the seed of a light intention seed of Tai Gong, rise, relaxation. And if you do drop those intentions in, you'll probably find that you're using muscular effort and you get agitated and stuff like that. So I personally do meditation, very simple, just being present, just like sitting down, back straight, after the pranayama, the breathing exercises, sitting down and just being present, just feeling the body, feeling the sensations that come up, and just letting everything be as is, just to balance the mind. And I find that's very, 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 very helpful to my Wing Chun practice as well. One thing Sigel said, he said back in those days, there was nothing else to do. So he was living with Ip Man, and he would go to the 9th floor of the association on the rooftop. As he said in one of the videos, everything was very dark because there was no street lights back then. Very dark, very quiet, very peaceful, and he would just practice. He would practice, his own self-training was 5-6 hours a day. And he said there was no internet, there was no, if you wanted to do something, you go for a hike. That's all. You go to nature, and then what he was also doing, after a hike, he would go for a swim in the ocean. So it's all natural stuff. There wasn't much, he said there wasn't many distractions for the mind back then, so possibly he didn't have to go through that. And his people that knew him, they knew he's a very simple, sort of very clever, but very simple, let's say passive and quite open personality, so he wasn't angry, he wasn't, upset, he wasn't depressed. It was just him, and so I think that's why he didn't need any kind of meditation. His mind was already quite balanced. There was no distractions, and he had the right teacher and the right tool, and that's why he got it. But personally, I do recommend doing some meditation. And finally, my advice is to practice daily. Really, really practice daily. I mean, some of my students, they have 4 kids, they've got a full-time job, stuff like that. So of course, different lives, we have our families, we have responsibilities, stuff like that. Of course, everyone can't do 2 hours every day. But as long as you get into the habit of practicing as much as you can every day, let's say you just set, you wake up 15 minutes earlier so you can do 15 minutes of Siling Tao every day. That accumulation of daily practice is worth a lot more than doing 2 hours twice a week, So I really recommend that you just get into a habit. It's like brushing your teeth, when you brush your teeth, you don't think about it. It's just something you do, or having a shower. It's just something you do because you do it, It doesn't feel like a chore as much, at least not to me. And so if you can make your training like that, then, before you know it, 1-2 years have gone past, and really you have obtained something. You might not even know that you've obtained something internally, but you will accumulate something if you keep your daily practice. And after a while, you'll notice that you're able to take that into your daily life as well. You'll feel your body in a different way. You'll move differently. You won't get emotional as easy. You'll be more balanced mentally, physically, and your reflexes will improve. You know, you could be in a kitchen, and this has happened to me many times, in a kitchen, and maybe your wife or you yourself, something knocks a glass down or something, and you quickly catch it. You'll be like, wow, okay, so I didn't have time to think. That was just a natural reflex. Things like that will start to happen a lot with the simplicity of just the daily practice. 15 minutes a day, slowly make it half an hour if you can. If you can't, just keep it 15 minutes, but if you can, as you find the time, just practice more and more and more. But make it constant, continuous, every day.